So for those of you who represent a partner organization, it is now time for you to make your presence known. Please snap that QR code in the corner. I think we in the Slack we have a way to capture people who are virtually participating. So please go ahead and capture that QR and fill out the Google form and let us know who's here. We really want to know who's active in our partners every year. And so this really helps us figure out who's here and who's helping and who we can call on. And I see some folks online. It's great to see you all online too. So thanks for coming in. Okay. So we're going to start with the fun stuff. We're going to start with some winners, some Funding Friday winners, some networking game raffle winners, and feedback winners too. I forgot to put that on the slide because we value your feedback so much. We're incentivizing it. We're going to talk about the state of ESIP report. We're going to talk about the new board. We're going to actually gavel them in. Douglas gets to do it. Get that gavel ready. And then we're going to do a little bit of visioning about what the road to 30 years of ESIP looks like. I hinted at this earlier this week, and now's the time for us to really go ahead and talk about it. Okay, Funding Friday. I have some really good news. We had 7 posters, and we were scraping the bottom of the grant barrel to clean out a grant. And so we're funding all of the 7 posters. Congratulations. But they were all really good posters. And I'll tell you, there was a really strong number of tickets in each one. So everybody liked all of them. So well done, poster proposers. And Mayor will be following up with you quite soon on the formalities. But you will be hearing from us to lock in that award. But we're also making a change where instead of giving you some now and some later, we're going to be just doing it all in one go because that's more useful for people. It's what we've been hearing. Instead of 2 small bits of money, it's like one slightly not as small bit of money. So congratulations to those Funding Friday winners. We can't wait to see what you do with it. We have the Open Earth data activities for K-12 learning. They're going to be funded. We're going to have the dancing group are going to be dancing their way into student data fun. So congratulations, last names. We'll get you sorted. We'll get your last names, even if they're not here. We have Maddie Allen with Extending Camels US. Going to be funded. We have Pass the Torch by Eddings, also funded. We have the Data Rescue by Kathy Todd Brown with undergrads. Going to be funded. And then Lowering the Barrier to Earth Science Data by the dynamic fellow duo of Brown and Saba. We also have Moth to a Flame by Maddie Berger. I especially like the art. She's quite an artist. All right, and that concludes that. I want to give you guys a warning because this was sort of a grant ending phenomenon. We don't know what Funding Friday is going to look like next year, but I don't want you guys to feel like this is a promise. We're going to do the best we can, but if you're in a position to actually help sponsor more Funding Friday awards, we would love to talk to you because that's what we like to do. We like to put our community resources together and set some ideas going. Okay, next thing we're going to do is the networking bingo winner. The networking bingo person, from my very formal hat, who is going to win this networking bingo prize is Snehal Prabhu. Are you here, Snehal? Woo! Is she here? Oh, you got to be present to win. Is she here? Can we get her to scoot down here? Can anybody text her? All right, that counts. That counts. If she's still on site. Super. All right. We actually have a really nice Austin tote bag because what's a science meeting without a tote bag? It's not a science meeting. Oh, Douglas is going to model it. Very nice. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you. All right. And then when it comes to feedback on the on SCED, we love getting your feedback. And what we're going to do this time is when we call a name, you're going to come up and you're going to draw one of our 4 special prizes that we picked out. They're all a little different, and we wanted to kind of cover all of the interests in the group. So we have some snacky things, and we have some wash up things, and we have some just generally weird and chocolatey things. So I think there's a home for that. Zoe, help me out. All right. Tuesday, we have Nazila Marathi. All right, Nazila, come on up. All right. And then Wednesday's winner, we have Gian Villamil Otero. Are you here? Oh, all right. Roll the randomizer again, please. Sarah O'Connor. All right. Come on, Sarah. All right. And then on Thursday, we have another Sarah. I did not touch this computer. The fix is not in. It's Sarah Manassian.
What? Why are they all sitting together?
I know. Maybe they've got the fixes in. So go ahead and pick one of the 4 prize packages that are on the table, according to your liking. And then Friday.
There's only one name.
Paul Lemieux. Come on down, Paul. That's all right. See, if you tell us how we're doing, you can be rewarded for it. So thank you for that. We really, really value your feedback. Oh, and we're gonna have a showcase showdown over here on the prize table. All right. Well, thank you all for giving us the feedback and being such active parts of this meeting for the week. It has been really, really great to get to know everyone. And let's see, I need the other deck. It has been great to get to know everyone in this community and just learn about everyone and their interests and what has happened over time. If last year was absolutely, if we're going to go and build on Susan's legacy, we're going to use a sailing metaphor. So last year was about battening down the hatches, and this year is about continuing to make forward progress in strong headwinds. And what you need in rough seas is a crew you can count on, and this is the crew. We can talk about this when it comes to the awesome staff that helps make this meeting go. And we can talk about this about the amazing thought leaders that we have in this community who show up year after year. So we talked about our vision on Tuesday. It's a lofty goal. We want to make solutions for all that are actionable for all, anytime, anywhere. This is why we've got a long way to go yet. And we also get specific about how we're positioned to help achieve that vision in our mission. We really are looking at innovative use and stewardship of Earth system data to solve big challenges. So we're ambitious. And we have these awesome core values of integrity, inclusiveness, collaboration, openness, and curiosity. And this is absolutely the crew to address challenges and weather tough times. So we've had a lot of new partners in the last year. Here's a sample of our new partners. We also are starting to drill down into the partners who are attending the assembly meetings. That's why we have you zap in with the QR code. So we have about 50 each year because numbers decline as the week goes on, and I understand that. But prizes. Maybe next year in Buffalo you can hang out a little longer if you've already left. And I think one reason I'm not showing the cumulative partners graph is because it didn't reflect inactive partners. So we want to kind of dig a little bit more into our partner roles and figure out, which partners are active and what are we doing that appeals to them. So as I have been here, I have been trying to connect with as many partners as I can to understand why they're here, what they get out of being part of ESIP. And that has taught me a ton. If you're a partner organization and I haven't met with you yet, I'd love to. So please, let's be in touch. And I also have to put in the plug that the partnership committee is a key part of helping us grow our partner list and build our community. And you can join that later. So there will be another QR code that you can zap later on if you're interested. ESIP happens all year, and I really don't have to tell this group that with ongoing collaborations and monthly calls. We can only get together once a year, but when we do, it's so comfortable because we've been working together all year and developing close, trusted collaborations. Some of our collaboration areas have really made waves this year. The work of the physical samples cluster has continued. The sustainable data management cluster has been closely involved with the repository crisis scorecard project. And that's making a big difference as well. But what we're seeing across all of our collaborations and clusters is that people are a little tired. We have a lot of partner organizations who have lost many, many staff in the last 18 months. And portfolios have been reshuffled. And so some people are melting under all that they've taken on, and others are reinventing themselves. And that's really scary. But I want everybody to remember, no matter what, this community is here for you. And there's always a shoulder to lean on. There's always a listening ear, a thoughtful partner to think about, how can we fix this situation? And then we can always get energized with the new ideas we hear from each other. So this is a list of all of our collaboration areas. We continue to have many healthy clusters and many healthy committees. One thing that is important to note here is that the board voted to rename the EDIJ committee to Bridge. The Bridge committee's aims are still going to be to cross-connect to the ESIP community, to widen the opening of the professional pipeline that takes people into Earth system data sciences and keeps them there, and also to help us retain that community and meet everyone where they are, and really make this community a wonderful mosaic of everyone's identity and experiences. So you will see it on the website and on documents going forward as Bridge, because it's a lot easier to say, but it has all the same heart and soul. I want to also remind you that we need to remember how easy it is to start a cluster. If you need a place to connect, let us know. We can help you. We have the skills and the talents to provide a little bit more support too to clusters that are interested. If you have a cluster and you're like, I really want to do this thing, but I'm not sure how to get there, let us know. The ESIP staff can help you plan that out, and we can help you set goals and achieve them. So if your cluster feels like it could use a goals refresh, or you're not sure what the next chapter looks like, let us know. Alicia's always happy to talk, and I'm also really eager to help folks set goals and get there as well. And we want to make sure that clusters are as useful for everyone participating as we can, because it really is valuable that people make time to participate regularly in the clusters. And it's so hard to do that. We want to make sure that it's the best use of everyone's time. A quick look back on ESIP Lab funded projects for this year. These projects had some really great outcomes, and they influenced sessions at both meetings this year. We're still getting ourselves organized for this year's ESIP Lab RFP, but stay tuned. You couldn't miss the prevalence of AI and machine learning as a topic at this meeting. It might come back. We have yet to know, but we're also interested in hearing from you if there's something that you think this community is well positioned to address and we should be looking at it with the ESIP Lab. Let us know. We still have a really wide reach. Our communications through our newsletter and Slack reach more than 2,000 people. We have really strong open rates and web views. And so this tells us that we're providing interesting and relevant information that nobody can find anywhere else. We're always checking the data to make sure that we are offering the most interesting content and getting better and better at that. You will have noticed this year that with the increase of heavy AI and bot traffic, that we spent a lot of time making sure that real people could get at our content and not web crawlers. So we're always trying to balance accessibility and security. Again, if you have thoughts, we're all ears. There have been some weeks when it has taken most of the time of two of our staff to figure out some of these wrinkles. So also, please let us know if anything goes awry as we're trying to keep up on all these different settings. Let's see. Oh, and I know, we do meetings, we do events. Even though last year's meeting attendance dropped a little bit, we still have hundreds of people coming together every year for our meetings twice a year. They are community contributed, so you all deserve most of the praise for the experience and content this week. Last year we had only 140 first timers, but this year we have so many more. So it is up to all of us to welcome those people in, and everyone is absolutely showing up with exciting meeting content. So thank you for that. We're also supporting more kind of customized workshops for our agency partners and events like Spark at AGU. We're trying to nail down the details of what AGU participation will look like this year, but we just finalized that we're going to be having Spark. So we're very excited about that. Look for more details on that. If you want to tell a science story, that's a great place to do it. We're also going to be hosting the last NOAA AI workshop, and we're talking with USGS and NASA about whether we can organize agency-specific workshops for them as well. So the state of ESIP also includes a comment on our financials. Here's our figures from the last fiscal year that we printed in the annual report and finalized, I think, slightly after the January meeting. I'm happy to report that our annual audit was, again, clean. As you can see from the pie charts, most of our funding comes from federal grants and contracts. And so meeting registration makes up a meaningful portion of our income along with sponsorship, and that's very flexible income. That's much more flexible than what we have in our cooperative agreements. So those sources help cover costs that might not be charged to federal grants. But I'm going to be honest with you, this year is going to look different. We have not had an active agreement with USGS since December, and our meeting sponsorship was a little bit down this year. Meeting registration is a little up from last year, though. So we're working with federal funders and sponsors on how we can shore up ESIP's revenue over time. If you like the numbers, please join our finance committee. Our finance committee is going to be instrumental in helping us implement certain ideas that about how we can diversify income streams for this organization. And that we're going to be asking the financial committee to think a lot more about financial strategy in coming years, like out-year strategy. So it's actually a lot more fun than it sounds. If you like modeling, that's modeling. It's just money modeling instead of, some other currency. In addition, our endowment is another pie wedge that's in there, or I think it's an entry on the table that reflects our the amount that we steward for the Raskin Scholarship. That has been steady and has grown over the last few years. And it is now at a position where we might be able to begin to actually draw from it while still retaining the capital rather than just growing it as we had been doing, so that it can last in perpetuity as the Raskin family intended. So the Finance Committee, again, is working on a strategy for that right now. In 2026, with our hiatus in funding from one of our major funders, we had a good amount of reserves, and that really helped us weather the bumps. We had to pay a penalty last year after the meeting because revenue came in low. And so, we've been able to weather those things. In late 2025, the board created a task team to consider how to diversify ESIP's income. And there is a proposed rule in OMB that could really alter our meeting business model. And so we're following that very closely and thinking about how we're going to respond if that becomes a reality and how we want to broaden our income streams coming in the future. And we're going to be prioritizing building strong partnerships and sponsorships. So again, if you're part of a partner, I'm going to be coming to you to say, hey, what what does ESIP mean to you? What is ESIP's greatest benefit to you? And how can we incorporate that in a bigger, broader future? So if you're interested in helping us carry out this strategy, get in touch. We are thinking about whether we can put together like a task team to help implement some of those ideas. Okay, and interestingly, our NASA 5-year cooperative agreement ends today. It's kind of a moment. We were scheduled to have our new one, a 1-year agreement, start tomorrow, but we're still waiting to hear how that's going. There's some, I don't know, gremlins in the pipeline or something. As for NOAA, we're in year 4 of a 5-year agreement, and we're talking about new and different ways we can support NOAA and carry on with existing objectives and maybe add some new ones. For USGS, we are hoping a new 2-year cooperative agreement can start in September. And U.S. Forestry Service, we have a very small MOU that is ending next summer, and we are planning a workshop as part of that for fall and winter. So we are so grateful for the close partnership of our federal agencies, and just their ability to, we can talk through all kinds of things about how the community needs a boost, or what kind of priorities the community has. And these really close partnerships and relationships are so instrumental to supporting the ESIP events and the ESIP identity that most community members really know and love. So we're really grateful for those federal funders. We're also grateful for our meeting sponsors. They have really kept us very happy this meeting, making sure that we have coffee and reusable lanyards and things that really help us work together. We're really grateful for sponsors who show up outside the meeting too, people who give us compute credits or support a hackathon or support early career researchers. And I think we'll be talking about ways we can diversify those options for different sponsors or partners to really invest in. So I think that's a kind of an exciting possibility for ESIP that's going to help us grow and just be a little bit showing up in new spaces. I want to ask for a round of applause now for our community fellows. They have helped keep these sessions on track. I hope you had a chance to meet them. And I'm excited that we had so many Funding Friday proposals from them. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing great things from them in the future. So thank you so much, fellows. I also really need to thank the ESIP staff. There's only 5 of us, but boy, my team is mighty. So 3 of the mighty are in the front, and the other mighty is in the back somewhere, probably working out some financial details. So Mayor, Alicia, Zoe, and Aaron, you guys are great, and you have really brought, made sure that we had the most wonderful meeting this week that we could. So thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. And now it's time to gavel in the new members of the board. These are our outgoing members. And I welcome Douglas to the podium to say a few words. And thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Sarah. This is her first in-person July ESIP meeting. First timer, yeah. Also, Mayor, if you don't know, Mayor only started at April this year, so she has been hitting ground running, joining ESIP as operations director. Thanks, Mayor, if you are out there somewhere. But and I want to thank all the outgoing boards of this year. Amber Burden as the vice president. John Ralph has been serving as the governance chair for 2 years. Carl Benedict serving as a finance committee chair and for the past year, and Mike Mahoney from USGS as a partnership chair, and Steve Diggs has been serving as the inaugural IJ and the now Bridge committee chair for the past 2 years. Arika has done a tremendous job formalizing the nomination process, providing more information to recruit new volunteers as a nomination committee chair. One note about nomination committee is that that's the only position on the board that's appointed by the board president. So if anyone is interested in being part of the nomination committee, please come talk to me after the meeting, and we would like to have more diverse perspective on nominating future leaders of the ESIP. Chris Stoner served as the at-large board member for the past year, has been bringing a lot of energy and perspectives from private sectors. And Mike Daniels, who is stepping down from the boards after today, but has been a great at-large board member with tremendous information about the history of the ESIP, has been a long time member of the committee. Thanks to all those board members. And I also want to thank the outgoing member of the technical committee leaders who are part of the program committee for ESIP, serving as liaisons between the community and the boards, and including Kogan. I couldn't read. Too small. Yeah. Kogan Shimizu for the semantic tech, and Chris Batista for IT and I committee, and Carla McCaffell for the Education Committee, and Greg Penn for the Data Stewardship Committee. Carla is the only reason that we can still have our educators workshop this week, because of her dedication for the educators and then bringing those earth science information to the educators. Thanks, Carla, and thanks for all those committee chairs. And now it's my pleasure to welcome the incoming boards. I will be serving my second term as the board president, and Raina from World Data System will be serving as the vice president of the boards, and Ben stepping up to serve as the governance committee chair, and Kate Rose from Northern Gulf Institute and NOAA NCEI serving as the finance committee chair, and Maggie to serve as partnership committee chair, Kathy from RPI to join the bridge committee, leading the efforts, including a lot of those activities we have discussed throughout the meeting. Rika will continue to serve as nomination committee chair until we appoint another committee chair. Bruce will, I think I may have missed Bruce in the previous slides. Sorry, Bruce. My apologies. Bruce will continue his second year as the at-large board member, joining with Chris Stoner from AWS, and Chen Huang, who used to be a community fellow, will be joining the board as another at-large board member. Penn will be continue serving as the data stewardship committee chair in the coming year, joined by Kogan coming back as the semantic tech committee chair. Dave Bludgett from USGS coming back again to serve as the IT and I committee chair, and then Larissa to join the education committee, leading the charge on the education committee. So please welcome all those new committee chairs and board members. And yes, I think Ken Casey is now online. Since Ken's presidency, we have a gavel as an official way to welcoming the new board members. So thanks, Ken, for having this gavel made for the ESIP. And one note, do not bring this with in your carry-on luggage. TSA thinks it's dangerous shape. So don't ask me how I learned about it. Welcome all the board members.
Now is your chance to sign up for committees. I'll pause here for a minute so that folks can go ahead and snap that QR code, send the link to all their friends, sign up for all the things. And what we're doing is, instead of having like a physical caucusing approach that has been used in the past, what we're doing is we're basically collecting expressions of interest to be part of certain committees. And then we will go ahead and make sure that the committees have the right diversity of partner types represented amongst the volunteers. That has proven to be a better way to actually get a full committee than try to, kind of pick and choose from the few people who are remaining here with, avoiding flights and things like that. So our aim is to have committees seated by sort of end of August, early September with this approach. So tell your friends, it's going to be fun. All these different committees have a lot of fun. And, there's a lot of opportunities to make a difference on the ESIP community by being part of them. So I'm not seeing anyone still snapping the QR codes. So I feel like I'm safe to continue. Now, here's where we're going to do something a little bit like the interactive things that were so popular in previous State of ESIP meetings. ESIP is about to be 30. So we have 2 years until our 4th decade begins. So that might be older than some people in this room, perhaps. So now we want to talk a little bit about and hear from you about what the road to 30 more years of ESIP looks like. So this is my very, very hasty and rough reconstruction of ESIP's decades. So in the first decade, ESIP formed in response to the National Academy's recommendation. There was a creation of the Federation and the Foundation. There were a lot of projects that were kind of put together under this umbrella. And the real goal was to evolve methods to make earth science data easy to preserve, locate, access, and use. Then, in the next decade, the Foundation and Federation merged and more partners joined, and committees or clusters really developed. In the last decade, ESIP became a single nonprofit, a 501c3, and this is where ESIP's current identity, mission, vision, and values became what you know today. This is the era where the popular video "ESIP is where I found my people" was made, and so it is up to us to figure out what happens in the 4th decade. I think we have so many interesting topics that ESIP can dive into. I think there are so many interesting ways we can connect with data creators and users and newcomers to the field. And we need your creativity and ideas to help us figure it out. So we're going to try something. It might be a smashing disaster or it could be a smashing success. So I've prepared a Miro board, and we are going to be thinking about what 30 more years of ESIP might be like. What we are going to do for the next 30-ish minutes is we're going to break out to define what actions our staff, our volunteer leaders, and our community need to take in the next 2 years to ensure we move into our 4th decade very healthy and strong. So I'd like you to brainstorm actions that ESIP should take related to one of 4 themes, and then identify the top handful that emerged to your group. So we're going to talk about, we're going to have you break into groups that focus on each of these circled items. So one is financing the journey. One is external factors. These are the black swans, the white swans, the improbable things. And then there are the known knowns and all that stuff. And then we want to think about who's in the community, who's on the bus, and who's driving next to us, who are our partners, who are our key groups that we need to be working with and pairing up with and magnifying our force with. And then we're going to also have a group that's thinking about work areas and themes. This is where we grapple with things like the AI ML revolution, or how do we move to the cloud? And in each of these situations, I'd like you to think about how we're gonna how it fits ESIP, like how the actions you're thinking of are going to fit ESIP. How does it connect to or build on our mission, our vision, or our values? How does it create enabling conditions that set us up for 30 more years? And also, is this a must-have or a nice-to-have? So we need to be strategic and thoughtful about how we sequence our work, because there's only so many of us, and a lot of us are carrying really, really big portfolios. So as I said, we've created a Miro board that's going to help support this conversation. It has the same graphic and it has a bunch of sticky tabs. On the next slide that I'll show, it's a reminder of what the charge is, and it'll give you the QR code for the Miro board. So when I say go, you're going to move yourself to the corner that has the topic you want to focus on and discuss. And so you can pull up the Miro board and spend the first 5 minutes just quietly jotting down ideas. We've got sticky tabs that you can just kind of create, do like a little sticky tab idea generation period. And then as you do, you run through these ideas of, is it a nice to have? Is it a must have? Is this, how does it fit? How does it create enabling conditions? And then after that brainstorm period, you'll take about 20 minutes to discuss with your table mates and maybe corner mates, really, because I think there's more of us that are going to fit in these corners. You're going to look for commonalities and think about limits and take notes if you see we already have things in place that are going to make this easy. So at the end of that time, we'll have a spokesperson identify the top handful of things that occurred to you. We're not going to lose any of the suggestions. That's the beauty of using the Miro board. I know it's a little clunky, but it helps us capture all the ideas. And then we're going to gather all those notes and discussions, and then we're going to roll that into the upcoming refresh of our strategic themes, which is coming on the horizon as well. Okay, so your first move is going to be moving into groups. So what I'm going to say is, I think we're going to put the financing the journey. We're going to do it just like this slide. So financing the journey is going to be in the front left of the room. The partner area is going to be in the front, back left of the room. The work areas and themes is going to be in the back right of the room. And then the external risks and drivers is going to be in the front right of the room. Do we have any burning questions? That seems pretty clear. All right. I'm sure mayhem will ensue. Okay. We'll give you a 2-minute warning before it's the end of the brainstorming time, so you can kind of like organize and, tag your reporter. And then we'll go around the room for a little rapid fire contribution of what came up in your groups. I encourage people to continue posting on Miro or adding to any notes documents to kind of build out nuance. Okay, so here's your reminder of how to think about this. And there's the QR code for the Miro board that should take you to my goofy Richard Scarry recalling roadway of where we need to go as a community. Any questions or challenges at this point? And I know it's sub-ideal to have a Miro board that you're dealing with on your phone link. I apologize. I thought about that late. Because Alicia is a star, she added the link to the Slack. Thank you, Alicia. Then you can use a larger device. Okay, go ahead and relocate yourselves and start chit-chatting. Or no, start your silent reflection and then move into chit-chatting. And you can choose whichever idea you want to focus on. And if you forget which corner is which, just look at that Miro board and pretend I'm the top of the picture. Okay. Just to provide a little reminder, if you're a little confused about where you're supposed to go, I'd like to go backwards. Come on. There we go. So financing the journey is going to be by the projector board. Who's on the bus in the back corner towards the AV desk? Work areas back by the big exit. Nobody wants to talk about risks? Or maybe we have this group talking about risks. I love it. Thank you. The small and mighty. Thank you. Okay, so risks are over there in that, and external drivers, we'll say. Could be anything. All right, we're starting to lose people, and people are starting to lose energy and get hungry. So I think I'm going to take the moderator's privilege and bring us back into the big group. I cannot wait to hear and read what everyone put on the board. There's so many stickies, so many thoughts. I would love to invite one of the groups to go ahead and tell us a little bit of the highlights of what you talked about. Is there any group that's bold enough to be first mover here? Awesome. Come on over and claim a hand mic and tell us what's on your mind.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We were the risks and internal factors group, and just sort of real quickly, our high level takeaways as far as risks were, excuse me, let me just move. Changes in funding and external political landscapes and focus areas. So just what the people with money need and what they need out of ESIP. The fundamental shift in how data is used and accessed, as well as just the rapid technology change and availability. So just constantly, trying to be more proactive to how data is being used instead of constantly reactive, which is very hard because things are just changing so quickly. Shifts in community makeup, needs, and interactions. So how the community comes to ESIP and what they need from this community, and just how they communicate. Are they just asking their chatbots what they would otherwise get from ESIP? As well as research versus operational needs. So that's kind of speaks for itself.
So can you tell me what actions did come to your mind as like things that we can jump on, or were you just kind of identifying the landscape? That's okay too, if that's where we are in this place.
Yeah, it was mostly identifying the landscape and just kind of following these different threads and there's lots of sub sticky notes for all of these themes. So
that's fine. Thank you. Anything to add for other table mates? All right. I can't wait to see the products of your thoughts. Okay, it looks like we have the back of the room reporting out next. You guys are a very large cluster, so there might be a couple of...
There were a couple of groups
There are a
back
couple
here,
of circles,
so.
And then I hear that most of our online friends were also thinking about this topic. So we might take a couple bites at the apple here.
All right. Well, we'll get you started on that apple. So we were thinking about, again, onboarding, recruitment, dissemination of the ESIP, how wonderful Earth Science Informatics is. So maybe more engagement or additional engagement at AGU, ESA, SSSA, National Science Teaching Association. We have a smorgasbord on the mural board if you're interested. Thinking about educational resources, so maybe building off of carpentries to introduce people into how to use earth science tooling. Thinking about ESIP folks like to do things. So maybe building off the idea of a resource card and how can we identify the different semantic resources and their use cases, tying that into that educational activity. There was an interesting idea about revisiting the National Academy of Science and thinking about doing a multi-decadal retrospective, given that we came out of there. Maybe we go back and say, okay, we've gotten this 30 years now. Well, how'd we do? What are we going to do next? So
if anybody wants to pay for that, I think it's a fabulous idea. So just,
just throwing that out.
Just throwing that out there. National Academies always needs a sponsor for one of those things. So,
and my computer just went blank. So am I missing anything?
Intercluster.
Oh, intercluster coordination. Yes.
Yep.
So cluster. I know that the staff and the fellows both try to keep the clusters really connected, but thinking a little bit more about maybe there's a role for a coordination node. This might be a role for committee work, or standing up additional clusters. But thinking about how to coordinate some of the activities that are similar that are going across between these meetings.
Thank you. Anything else along the back of the room in that giant area?
Just respond.
While everyone talks, I'm just going to put up the sign up sheet in case you're so inspired that you want to be.
Just to respond to Kathy's comments about coordination, the program committee has been thinking about how to better coordinate across clusters. So,
okay, I can't remember the name of our. What are we? Work areas. Yes. So we took to heart the vision of making earth science data actionable by all who need them anytime, anywhere. And not surprisingly, our answers kept coming back to AI and agents, which not sure what we're going to think about that in 30 years, but here we are sitting here. And so thinking about lots of ways that we can make sure that people can use these amazing tools to be able to get actionable information out of our fantastic data sets. And so looked a lot at how organizations that have data repositories or the APIs often don't have the time to work on MCP servers to sit in front of them. And so that may be something that our community is able to provide them. The other thing with skills, where there's a lot of context needed to really be able to interpret a lot of this data. And so we thought about coming up with a better framework for our community to define these things and then maybe even host workshops among domain experts to get people to contribute. Here are the gotchas in this data. Here's how to interpret this. And then just tools to make it easier for new entrants into this field to be able to get air quality plots out or things that they need.
That's great. Thank you.
Oh yeah, maybe an awesome skills repo.
I think I'm also going to take this moment to ask our online group if one of them could come off mute and give us a little recap of what they discussed. Because you said they were all in that same topic area, right? Mostly. Okay. Oh, here we go. Go for it.
Sure. So as you can see, we made our own little mural board for our awesome online team. And I'm just throwing myself out here to self-report. I expect everyone to chip in for what I've missed. And I also just want to say it was lovely working with all of you. I would be on a subcommittee with you at any time.
Kate, please introduce yourself first.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I'm the disembodied voice of Kate Wing. I ESIP partner. My organization is called Intertidal Agency. We work on ocean data.
Nice.
And we work on a lot of these topics. So it was nice to see them show up around, again, AI. How can ESIP play a role in making sure AI is used appropriately with guardrails, create repeatable projects, improve data findability, improve data pipelines? We talked a bit about how some of this is work people have been doing for decades. What is different with AI? And those are conversations that ESIP might be a good place to have and explore and sort of show like, do this, not that examples. We had a really robust conversation about what does it mean to do earth science and who do we need to see themselves in this community? And so it's kind of a work area. It's thinking about ESIP as a way of working, that we're about collaboration and working with other people across disciplines and focus areas. And so we're less focused on whether you're an astrophysicist or an ocean monitoring scientist, and more about like, are you all in on collaboration, data sharing, sharing your tools and technologies and ideas. And if you are, then you're part of what we call an earth science community. So that's one place where we thought about community building and bringing in new perspectives and new voices. And we also talked a bit about this kind of work area around demonstrating the value of earth science data to whoever it is that we need to demonstrate that to. Maybe that's Congress, maybe that's national academies, maybe that's federal agencies, maybe that's our micro funders on Polymarket. Hard to say, but either way, we might need to come up with frameworks to better do our communicate our value and importance. And when I say our value, we mean earth science and the people who make it possible. What did I miss?
That was great.
To my committee, my participants, did I miss anything key?
Well, there was this comment that I made that I think I'd like to make here as well. That ESIP could be the central PowerPoint powerhouse to think about legislation that might happen around AI and earth science and environment to make sure that humans stay on top of this infrastructure, and humans keep making decisions rather than AI agents making decisions and humans being the assistants. We don't want that. And that will require legislation. And if anybody were to volunteer, to lead this kind of analysis, this would be us. Well, ESIP.
Thank you. Those are some great ideas. All right, we're going to keep it moving. Douglas has run the mic over to which side? Okay, go ahead, John.
So we were talking about who's on the bus, and not surprisingly, that got broken down into sort of academic, commercial, nonprofit, et cetera, at the university level, thinking about cooperative institutes and specific schools that are doing or teaching Earth observation science, and what we might need to do to demonstrate our value to those communities and then help them learn to do what we do well. So we broke down all of the thoughts in the Miro board into those various categories, and it's a combination of ideas of partners plus ideas of actions we can take with regard to those partners, which pointed out something important, which was that we need representatives from all of those types on the partnership committee. So please volunteer so that we can then work on all of those ideas from the Miro board to try to build a more robust community and a fuller bus.
That's right. Thank you, John. And the link to sign up to express interest is conveniently on the slide deck. It's almost like John planned that. Okay, final group.
Final group is presented by our finance committee chair.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll just jump right in and start with, I think that something that we thought was really important is that we should update our messaging regarding the benefits of the funding and the artifacts that ESIP has already produced some evolving ROI documents that are appropriate for a variety of audiences, and socialize the value of ESIP to the private sector, because there's many of ESIP developed standards and products and concepts that they use and reuse. So this would all sort of give us a leg up to then work on reaching out to various other potential funders and organizations. We have like a bunch of ideas for those, and I probably won't go through all of those. Other federal agencies, also looking to see if we could set up a for-profit arm that could sell, for example, education materials or perhaps some other kind of services or artifacts, again, that ESIP produces. Consider adding paid exhibitors to ESIP meetings, and perhaps look at other business models, such as acting as a paid partner or a paid service to engage on foundations on behalf of partner organizations. And this is all towards trying to set ESIP up like it would be so great if we could have like an endowed fund, general fund for ESIP, the way that we do for the Raskin Scholarship, but looking at basically diversifying all of our contributions. So I'll stop there, but read all the stickies.
I look forward to reading all those stickies. I feel like every single one of you has earned your lunch and then some. One more plug to sign up for committees. We will also circulate that link directly if you are not able to zap it with the QR code. And then it would not be getting down to the end of the meeting if we did not ask for your input on the meeting evaluation. But before you get excited about doing that, I just wanted to say, I think it was wonderful hearing all of these different ideas coming out. Some of them I've heard from other folks, and a lot of them I haven't. And so I think these stickies are going to be really fun to dig into. I think what's going to come next is we are going to want to operationalize some of these ideas. And so there might be some calls coming out for like ad hoc groups to get together to really zero in on how do we create an appeal that's going to reach this particular sector? Or how are we going to really walk the talk when it comes to training our early career researchers? So I think that there's going to be a lot of kind of emerging activities that are all super cross-cutting that we can spin up, and it's going to take a lot of volunteer effort. And I promise we will make them well structured so everybody feels like their time is being well used. And I promise that we're gonna set clear goals, because nothing's worse than wandering towards the finish line. But I think this is something that we really, really depend on, is the community's involvement. And you have all just come and given so much in the last 4 days. And you continue to give all these great ideas. The Miro board will continue to be open for a few days, I would say, probably into next week-ish. And then we'll have a chance to synthesize everything and start kind of coming out, making some sense out of what we're seeing. So I invite you, if something occurs to you late at night, oh, I should add that, go ahead, feel free, or just send us a note. We're always ready to integrate it. So I think with that, I think we can probably wrap the state of ESIP. We can wrap the discussion, and please go ahead and complete the meeting evaluation. And it looks like Douglas has something else to say.
I think you skipped the next meeting slides.
No, that comes later.
Oh, sorry.
That was the outro. So we'll see you in Buffalo, but we really want your feedback first. So mark your calendars. We'll see you in Buffalo next to the Niagara Falls. A lot of food. Zoe's checked it out. Ask her specific questions about what she liked about the area, because she was, it's really walkable. It's really inviting. It's really wonderful. So I think we're going to have a great time in Buffalo next summer. We really hope to see you there. Please make sure to get yourself some lunch. I think there's probably 3 lunches for every person in this room, it looks like. So eat hearty. And thank you. Thank you for everything this week. All right. And we will absolutely email you about the dates of next July. So here we go. I think that's a wrap.